All right, let's talk AI, but forget about the apps on your phone for a minute. Today, we're looking at something on a totally different scale. There's a new category of AI being built in the Philippines, and it's designed to act as the brain, the central nervous system for an entire nation. So how in the world do you build an AI to run a country? Let's dive in.
So, here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by getting our heads around what a nation-scale AI even is. Then we'll explore the massive vision behind Deep Orca, break down its 5 layers of intelligence, and see who it's actually for. After that, we'll look at its really unique funding model, and finally, touch on what this all means for the future of so-called sovereign AI.
Okay, first up, an AI for a nation. Let's start with a really big idea. We're all used to AI as a tool, right? Something that handles one specific task. But what if it could be something much, much bigger?
This is the fundamental question that Deep Orca AI is trying to answer. It's a shift away from thinking about AI as just another product and into the territory of it being true national infrastructure.
And this, right here, really gets to the core of it. We're all familiar with conventional AI, single apps that do one thing really well. Deep Orca is a whole different beast. It's what's called a nation-scale meta-intelligence platform, and it's designed to integrate everything to serve an entire country. So what exactly is a meta-intelligence platform? Well, think of it less like a single expert and more like a board of directors. It's designed to combine intelligence from humans, data from all over society, and knowledge from other AIs to get one big, holistic view of a system as complex as a whole nation.
And get this, the vision goes way beyond just one country. Deep Orca isn't just being built for the Philippines, it's being designed as a potential blueprint, a model for developing nations all over the world.
This whole vision is built on a few key pillars. Right at the top is this idea of sovereign AI, the idea that a nation controls its own data, its own destiny. The goal here is to optimize public services and support everyone, especially those populations that are often overlooked. But there's a golden rule. Humans always remain in charge.
Okay, so let's pop the hood and dive into the engine room. How does something this huge actually work? Well, the whole architecture is built on 5 distinct layers of intelligence, and they all work together, kind of like a body's nervous system.
Here are the 5 layers we're about to break down. You'll see how they build on each other, starting from you, the individual user, and scaling all the way up to a central synthesizing brain. First, and honestly, this is the most important one, is human intelligence. This is the bedrock of the entire system. The core principle here is sovereignty. No matter what the AI suggests, a human always makes the final call. You are always in control. Next up, we have networked intelligence. You can think of this as the system's ability to go and consult an outside expert. It can tap into large language models and other external AIs to get broader context, but, and this is absolutely key, it only does that when a human user specifically asks it to.
Then we get to platform intelligence. Each individual app inside the Deep Orca ecosystem, whether it's for legal documents or for agriculture, generates its own specific, localized insights. These are like the system's local reflexes, handling all the specialized tasks right there on the ground.
Now, this next layer, civic intelligence, this is where things get really powerful. This is where the system starts connecting all the dots and seeing the big picture. By pulling together data from all those individual platforms, it can spot nationwide trends. It's almost like an autonomic system that's constantly monitoring the health of the entire country.
And finally, we arrive at the core intelligence. This is the central brain of the whole operation. It takes everything, input from humans, the network, all the individual apps, and that civic overview, and it synthesizes it all into a single, coherent insight to help the human user make the best possible decision.
So, we've just seen how this incredibly complex system works. But that begs the question, who is it actually for? And the answer is, well, it's pretty much for everyone.
The users literally range from grassroots entrepreneurs, like the owners of small sari-sari stores and rural farmers, all the way up to top-level government policymakers. And it's designed to operate across more than 15 different ventures, covering the whole shebang: agriculture, retail, supply chain, civic services, you name it.
Of course, a project this ambitious needs some serious capital. And that brings up a really critical question. How do you fund a nation's AI without selling out its civic-focused mission to private interests?
The initial funding ask is for 1 billion Philippine pesos, which is about 18 million US dollars. But, and this is so important, this is not your typical venture capital. It's being raised through something called the MetaForge Civic Innovation Finance Framework. It basically uses zero equity public capital to make sure the project stays aligned with national interests, not the interests of private investors.
And even though it's a civic venture, it's also designed to be a massive economic engine. Just look at these projections. They show potential annual revenues hitting over $500 million if it expands across the global south. The target valuation is up to $1 billion within 7 years, so it's built to be sustainable.
So, where does this all go from here? It's really important to understand that this isn't just some concept on a whiteboard. No, this is a concrete plan and it's already in motion.
The immediate roadmap is already laid out. They're working on building out the integrations for specific platforms, piloting that civic intelligence layer with real agricultural data, testing the networked layer, and of course, assembling the right team and securing that funding to make it all happen.
So what does all this add up to? Well, it points to a pretty powerful possibility. If this is successful, Deep Orca won't just be a new piece of tech. It would position the Philippines as a true pioneer for the entire global south in creating sovereign AI, technology that actually serves the nation that builds it.
And that leaves us with a fascinating final thought. We might be seeing the dawn of AI that's not designed by global tech giants for their own platforms, but by nations for their own citizens. So if one country can really build its own AI backbone, who's going to be next? And what does that mean for the rest of us?